So when we talk about payments in Odoo, it's something that you can fetch at multiple locations. For example, in the e-commerce, customers have to do payments, and in when you send quotations, customers have to do their payments. And I'm talking about the new features that we developed to ease those payments for the customer, and also about the new information that you can get into your system for to have a good follow-up of the payments that have been made from your customer. So the most typical ways to get paid in Odoo is by you send a quotation, the customer confirms it, you send an invoice, the customer will pay the invoice. So what's the problem with that? You know, everyone knows it. When you get an invoice in your mail, you will look at it, and maybe you don't have the time to directly pay it, so it will become something that is delayed from your customer to you. And what's interesting for businesses, to get paid quickly, to have the money in their account. So for this one, we added something new in the system for to ease the reconciliation for your accountant, which is the automatic payment reference, which you can generate on your invoice. It's already there in version 11, but now we made something automatic that will always create an invoice reference that your customer can use on his invoice. So when writing an invoice, the field for the payment will fill in automatically, and afterwards your customer will see it on his invoice, and he only has to put in the communication when making their payments manually. So for us that's not enough, because we think that it can be quicker than that. So you might already have seen it on the first on the invoice that was just there, the little square in the bottom. We think that it's very important that your customer that it's easy for your customer to pay you quickly if it's in his online portal, or if he gets his invoice by mail. And therefore we added the QR code that is generated on the invoice. So the only thing your customer has to do when he gets his invoice is to take out his mobile phone or his device, scan the QR code, and then all information will be in it, and he just has to confirm it. You will receive those informations, the payment more quick, and the customer doesn't have to deal with the paperwork afterwards. What's also new to get paid more quickly on, for example, subscriptions, it's a bit annoying for accountants to have to review if they get the same invoice every month or every week, depending on what kind of frequency the invoice is paid on the subscriptions. You can now make a SIPA direct debit mandate for your customer, and so you can fetch directly payments from your customer into Odoo without any manual intervention of an accountant or of yourself to write the invoice. So now, what has changed? This is what has changed mainly for the customer, because it's also important for him to have an easy way to pay you. If it's a painful process, he might even abandon the idea of paying you in, for example, an e-commerce. So now I will explain you what is new for the people behind the system. So in the backend, what is the new information that you can get? So there is first the web follow-up from the payments that your customer will make through, for example, wire transfers and bank transfers. You will be able to configure a clear communication for your customer, so that he knows everything on his invoice, and you can do it a bit more automatic with the automatic invoice communication. So this is a complete new wizard that we installed, and you can even add some additional references if it's needed in your business. So now, for a specific kind of payment you can get. So it's for explicit for the payment acquirer. So when people purchase something, for example, on your e-commerce, and they want to use something else than a simple bank transfer, you already know that we have the payment acquirers integrations in the system, and we now added the more information about those about what is going on behind the system, behind this payment that the customer does on your site. So here, I hope it's visible for everyone. You will see that there's a complete follow-up on your sale order that is automatically generated when a customer does a payment, a purchase in your e-commerce. So it will not only send the sale order, it will also capture with which payment acquirer he will work, when the payment has been received, so when the invoice has been paid, and it will automatically create the accounting entries for it will automatically create accounting invoice entries and reconcile them directly, so your accountant has nothing to do else than import his bank statements and reconcile everything with the payments. So for the conclusion, I will make a brief preview of what I just explained to you with my with a database instance. So we are going to do two flows, which are first a quotation that you send from, or an invoice that you send from your system manually, and afterwards a flow about an e-commerce purchase to see the both of the sides of what is happening. So typically when you write an invoice, you just go to the accounting. On customers, you go to invoice and you create one. So here I will do one for me. I will add a line, Odoo shoes, even €5 less than in our shop. And then we can put a reference, for example, reference, and we can validate the invoice. And now I will go to my customer portal, and there we can go watch our invoices and see what we received. The invoice 13, which is waiting for payment, of course, because I didn't see it as a customer. So here I'm on the customer side, and you will see that now the reference is mentioned directly, and you will be able to scan it with your barcode, your QR code banking application, if it's compatible. There are some banks that are not using the standard QR code computation, so it's not available for every bank. But in Belgium, for example, it's for KBC, BNP, Fortis. No, Fortis, I think it's not available. Belfius, it's available, and there are more, much more banks that use this. So if you want to try, you can scan it directly and see what's happening. It's not my bank account, so you won't transfer any money. There's another way that people are faced to payments that they have to do to your company, which is the e-commerce. And for this, I will go to the online shop. And to see what is happening when we are purchasing something on the online shop. But this time we are using a payment acquirer, so not a simple invoice flow. So I'm going to go, okay, those are some nice shoes. I will take them, I add them to my cart. Everything is easy. I will choose my, I previously entered my address, and then I will choose my bank account to pay. And when I have done the payment, it's processing. So for the customer, bam, it's already done. He has paid and he will get his delivery. And for you, and that's what's interesting, it's also, everything is already done, because the system automatically created the invoice, the sale order, and he already registered the payment in the accounting. And you can have a full traceability of this below the invoice, where you can see that, okay, this invoice was sent. We can inspect it and see that even on this invoice, there's the reference for the payment, and you will see everything else. And then we will see, okay, this transaction has been made with authorized from net, and the payment is posted in the accounting. So the only thing to do is left for your accountant is to import his bank statements, and then he can reconcile them with those payments, and everything is done. So what is our main goal? Every time you know it, that we want to make it easier for you to work, and with this new features, you are able to fetch payments in the most easiest way, and your customer doesn't have to bother with paperwork of invoice. They can pay them very quickly, and you have full traceability in your system afterwards. That's all. If you have some questions, you can address them now.
You mentioned that you that when the customer paid, that you, in the system that you generate automatic sales order and invoice payment, basically. Does that also apply to, for example, event ticket?
Yeah. It's in every application that is. So the question was if an automatic generated sale order and invoice is also, if it applies also for event tickets when they purchase the event tickets online. Yeah. That's what you said. Okay. Yeah, it is the case. You can do this in all of our integrated online purchasing applications. It's everything that you can purchase through Odoo is automatically reconciled, and everything is automatically created.
The payment transaction.
If the configuration is done before.
Payment.
The receipt, where is is it directly added to your bank balance? Which account are you using here to process the receipt? Because in previous versions, you are adding that amount already to your bank account, shell account, without your statement being processed. So is that still the case here?
The statement is not yet processed because of course, that's something, it's the theoretic amount that is fetched, and the statement you still have to either import it and reconcile it with your.
Okay, but as long as you haven't imported your bank statement yet, there was a journal entry generated here. Your customer account is in this case debited.
The customer.
What's the debit account? It's credited. I'm sorry. What's the debit account used? Your bank GL account. So
it's a bank account for the.
Is this a success account or a real bank GL account?
That's right. It's a bank journal that you use that you created in Odoo. Example here, it's for authorized.net. So when you get your statements from authorized, you import them, and then the transfer will.
But when you register your payment, is your bank balance in your general ledger, is that
the bank balance
the bank balance itself? Because in previous versions, if you use the standard Odoo payment flow, it will adjust your bank balance in your general ledger, even though you haven't received anything officially.
No, it will not. It will not. Now it will only adjust the authorized bank, which is kind of a banking journal, but it will not affect the general ledger bank account, because it wouldn't be correct, because you if you didn't import, for example, all the statements, and you have your fiscal year is ending, but you still need to prove that you have received some payments, you have to that you have some active that you can use, for example. It has to be mentioned somewhere, and it's not mentioned in the bank account because that would be false, but it's mentioned in the authorized journal, which is another journal in your general ledger. It's not the banking.
Yeah,
Show the invoice.
yes.
The invoice?
Or the payment.
Invoice,
transaction.
yeah. If it is, if on the invoice the status is paid, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I forgot that. Sorry. So the invoice, it's paid on, and you can see, yeah.
This is misleading, yeah, because there's no entry in the general ledger, Usually it happens when
Well, there is an entry. You just showed the payment, the entry. What's the GL account, the counterpart, the counter GL account?
Yeah, but he's saying there's no entry in the general ledger if the customer paid.
No, in the general ledger, it's an entry. It's just not in the bank account yet.
Can you show the
It's in the authorized journal.
Yeah, but the other side of the entry, what's that? If it's not in the bank account.
Is that entry something you have to post yourself, or is that generally?
Oh, it's everything is
Can you
posted.
show that?
The entry for the payment. So where the invoice is registered as paid. So where it's cleared, and the debit account used for this entry.
Yeah, journal.
Yes.
Yes.
So the first one, what is that? I see an account, authorized.net. There's a fix.
That's a journal, like if it's it's like a fictional account.
But why don't you make that right away a suspense account? Then everything is in the general ledger. And if you have balance on your suspense account, if it's positive or negative, you should analyze that yourself. You know that you're still waiting for a bank statement.
Yeah.
You understand?
The suspense account, I don't know
Where
this.
does this
Some people call it a
statement
carrying
come?
account, but you're, yeah.
But the thing is, you will also be charges on the credit card payment, so how do you afterwards how does that counted for? Because you have the net amount you will receive is less because you have charges from your Visa, you have charges from Ingenico, for example, who will go up your gross amount. How does Odoo reconcile this?
Yeah, that's a good point, you're gonna need another journal entry for those charges.
Because when the bank account comes back, when the bank statement comes back, we have a global amount from Ingenico.
98% and then a 2% holdback for credit card,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, but I suppose that this payment, this subtraction is mentioned somewhere on
Well, it depends, I mean.
the statement from your payment requirement.
Not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily, no.
Okay, yeah, then your accountant has to do
The manual.
manually the job. But that's not something.
But that becomes part of your reconciliation process. You say it doesn't match, and the difference is down to these extra charges.
Yeah. It's during the reconciliation.
Is your balance no balance because
I don't think it's very balanced because I made some tests on it, so
And this can never be balanced.
Yeah, but that's where you
Yeah, that's what I'm
for
saying.
sure. This is going to be balanced when you import your bank
But
statement.
your balance sheet is not balanced right now. You haven't imported your bank statement yet.
No.
So right now, if I go to my balance sheet.
I would like to
will
see
not
it.
be-
I'd like to see it.
That's why if you use a suspense account, it will always balance out.
I think it's in the bank.
Because the assets are
That's in the bank. That's
no,
also
the
the
assets
problem.
is UK. Yeah, it's still balanced.
It's a bank and cash account. It's 0001.
It's actually I just configured quickly this, so it's not something that you should configure like this. Yeah, you can configure it. It's so that it goes to the correct journal in your database. This was just an example of how it is creating the.
That account used, you can configure it yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you-
No. The configuration of the journals and the accounts, you can do it all manually. Beforehand.
What I don't understand is what triggers off the nominal postings? Is it when you upload your bank statements? How do you know when the customer is going to pay though?
That is something. The information is directly fetched on the site when you are connected to your payment acquirer. You will say, okay, there was a payment, and that's written in your payment acquirer journal account.
sure I understand that. Because you send your invoice to your customer, and then when would Odoo make that posting into your nominals?
When you when it's with an invoice and wire transfer, you still have to input your bank statements, of course. If it's not clear, you can stay a bit. If it's not interesting everyone. Okay, because we have to stop, but we can discuss it outside if you